Hey there, you filthy flapjacks. You're listening to the Ear Coffee Podcast. For today's episode, I got to talk with Kate Malanaphy, a local singer-songwriter and member of the indie rock band Keep for Cheap. She just released her new EP, Soak, produced entirely by Caleb of Normal Parents. We talked about her musical inspirations, the recording process, and much, much more. Here's our interview with Kate Malanaphy. What was your first memory of playing music?
When I was really young, in my family home in Hudson, there's a piano in the dining room, and I always used to, when I was a tiny baby, I remember plunking on it and stuff. Mm-hmm. And my parents caught on to that, and so they sent me to lessons, piano lessons. And my first song that I knew how to play was Ode to Joy, and I played it over and over and over again. And I remember my older brother especially, and my parents just getting really annoyed at me and telling me to stop because I would not.
Did you kind of continue that lesson-based traditional experience throughout, or has it evolved as time has gone? To where you're at now? Yeah,
I took classical lessons until I was probably 14 years old, and that was fun. For a while, I wanted to quit just because there was not a lot of passion in that or anything. I was just mostly reading sheet music, and it was fun. It taught me a lot, but I didn't have a lot of fun with it, I guess. And then I started School of Rock, which is this after-school program for kids who want to learn how to play in a band. And that's what kind of got me started on playing contemporary music and writing my own stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's where I made the connection for my first band. Yeah. So that was how I got into performing, for sure.
I know you talked about in the interview you put out with Melodic Noise the other day that your first song that you wrote was Honey and recorded and released, and you came up with that after a friend just kind of said, hey, you can just do this, and you went ahead and did it. But what were your first experiences writing in groups before working with solo stuff?
It was in that band that started out as School of Rock. It was a ska band. We were called Diffuser, and we played on the scene for a little while. It was really fun. And yeah, I think I co-wrote my first song in that band. And I never really thought that I could do that on my own until I got that kick from that friend,
Was that a Diffuser ever recorded?
Yeah, we have songs out on SoundCloud. You can check them out. Amazing. Yeah, it's spelled Diffuser like defusing a bomb.
Okay.
I drew the logo too, so keep that in mind. Yeah, it's really bad. It's funny.
Yeah, when you write your songs, how do you determine whether they're going to be this is a song for me, or this is a song for Keep for Cheap, your current band?
Well, my songs are usually first written on piano, but that's starting to change a little bit. I've picked up the guitar more and more recently. And typically I'll take the guitar songs that I have and bring them to Keep for Cheap. But recently I've written some that are just less of the vibe of that band. So I'm going to just see where they end up. I haven't fleshed them out yet, so we'll see what they turn out to be. Yeah.
Do you feel a pressure to write a certain type of way? If you kind of have a concept and you're leaning one way or the other, do you feel almost obligated to the song to okay, this is the Keep for Cheap vibe, it has to go more into that direction instead of reclaiming it and kind of mixing and matching almost? Yeah,
there's definitely, when I'm writing for Keep for Cheap, it's a different kind of thing. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's just a different sound. My solo stuff is way more melancholic and super sad and introspective and stuff, and the Keep for Cheap stuff is more lighthearted by far. So I don't want to bring that mood down a ton or anything. So I got to be careful for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What would you say your songwriting process is, if there's anything consistent? Do you start with melody? Do you start with chords? Does it vary?
Well, it does vary for sure. Usually, my favorite songs I write by I've written by just sitting down at the piano and seeing what happens with the notes, and then from there I'll build a melody and words off of that. But then I also like to just write words to get feelings out, and then I'll come back to those later and see if anything fits. And sometimes stuff does, and sometimes it doesn't. So it's hit or miss with that.
Yeah. With your solo stuff, is it much more personal, or is it just kind of purging emotions into words that don't directly relate to an actual, they aren't rooted in reality, I guess? It's just putting an emotion out there through poetry.
Yeah, I kind of, a lot of them are rooted in what I'm experiencing at the time, but my writing for the most part is pretty indirect. I'll use a lot of imagery and metaphors and stuff rather than actually saying what I'm feeling. But yeah, it is still in that way pretty vulnerable and emotional, I think.
With just the title Soak, and I think you talked about with the melodic interview, like the idea of soaking in the music and just like really wallowing in it.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something where you just kind of like listened back to the songs you recorded and written and were like, oh yeah, that like made that connection? Or was it kind of a through line you were conscious of as you were working on the songs, finalizing them with Caleb?
I think it was kind of, I don't know, the first mixes I got back when I was listening to them, I felt like it was like watery to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, like it created that image, and it kind of just like when I was listening to them, it's kind of like ASMR almost, like the production on it. It's super cool. So I don't know, I guess it just kind of created that image in my head. And then I did photos with my friend Billy, who does really good pictures, and we did that in a pool. And so it kind of all came together, I guess. Like it wasn't super forced, but it was also kind of taken from a bunch of different things that I was doing with it at the time.
Like happened almost circumstantially.
Mm-hmm. I was like, this is a good, this works, yeah.
Did you have that in mind before Caleb got his hands on the songs? Like, did you have like at least demos or anything before you reached out to him?
I had demos, but they were just me and piano. So
piano.
Yeah, so I didn't really have a name or anything in mind, or like, a certain production direction. We kind of came to that conclusion together.
Yeah.
With what we did with those songs, for sure.
What was the hardest song to start, and what was the hardest song to finish? Specific, like this can be specifically for Soak, but also if there's like one from In and Under that like, or any other songs that have been released that like really sticks out as just trouble getting the ball rolling or getting it to stop.
Yeah, I think Naive for sure. That one, when I was writing it, was super hard to write. First of all, like from the very beginning stages, that song was a difficult one because it's so
it's a
different
vibe.
So I was like, what am I doing? Like, does it sound weird? And then when we got into the studio with it, when we got recording, the vocals came pretty easily and that stuff was all good. And then we started working on like the percussion on it, and Caleb sent me a few versions, and I was like, I don't know, it's just like not the vibe. So it took us forever. We had to like meet up and like map out the song section by section, kind of like try a bunch of different stuff. It took us a while to get that one right. Yeah. And I think you can kind of hear the time we spent on it for sure, especially Caleb. Yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of a random question, but are the lyrics in Naive, specifically the Tell Me What to Do part, does that have anything to do with Fleabag, the show?
No. Okay. I don't know what that is.
Okay. There's just a line in the show with like a really well-known part of that. I was like, that'd be a really cool connection, but and just thought I'd toss it off as a question. Do you think your lyrics are more important than the music that you're creating with or without Caleb? One might be led to think that just because of how prominent your singing is and like just really drawing you in with the vocals, but maybe,
I'd say they are very important to my music, but I think good instrumentals just add the extra. I think they're equally as important. I think my music is more central around my lyrics, and that's where I start pretty much, and that's where like the core of it is. But it would not be what it is without like the instrumentation that we did, I don't think. Yeah, it's hard to say on that one.
It kind of depends.
Yeah, for sure.
What would you say your favorite lyric is? No offense to the other lyrics. They don't have to listen.
Yeah, that's a hard one. Shit. Am I allowed to swear? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of all of my lyrics on the whole EP now. I really like the words on Turning Blue. I don't know. It's just like singing that "Come on, just chew me up and spit me out" is so fun, and that also has to do with like the high notes there. Yeah. But it's just such a come on, just do it, get it over with. It's fun. I like that one. I think. Yeah.
How do you balance writing and recording and whatnot with your solo stuff and with Keep for Cheap, like during the school year with actual like? I'm assuming you do have classes and everything.
I do. Yeah. I'm a full-time student at Hamlin. I honestly, it's not really a conscious thing. It just kind of like things will come up and I'll do them, and then school.
Like,
I'll suffer the consequences. I definitely prioritize music more than I do school, which is bad. Sorry, parents, but it's true.
Is music something?
So I'll make the music thing work, and then I'll like school's an afterthought. Like I'll. Yeah.
Would you, like, regardless of how school goes, would you want to go into like a performance and recording career?
I think so. Yeah. There's I can't stop now. Like I have to.
Do you do any other like music on campus?
I'm in choir. I'm in the a cappella choir.
Oh, nice.
That's fun.
Yeah. Get them to feature on one of the songs.
That would be cool. That would be honestly. Thank you for the idea.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sick.
With the releases you've put out so far, there's been 2 EPs. I think just like 11 or 12 songs recorded total. I don't know how many you have in the vault.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a conscious decision to put them out as EPs, as like these kind of like more bite-sized snapshots, instead of kind of like hunkering down and saving songs to come together as a full length? With Soak, I think it does make sense where there's like whether it's deliberate or not, a conscious through line and like a thematic idea. So that makes sense with the songs that are there.
For sure, yeah. I think
going forward, I guess
a lot of my newer songs don't really fit with those songs super well, and that was kind of why I chunked those off. I just cut them off there, and I'm hoping to do like an LP sometime in the future. But yeah, I guess I haven't really written enough songs that fit together or that I liked enough to do like a whole album yet. So that's kind of why I did the EP.
You want to make sure like it actually feels like an album instead of just like a playlist.
A bunch of songs, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
How do you think Soak in your mind compares to In and Under? Like, because the listener's perspective is one thing and that varies from person to person, but you are the artiste behind it all.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. Soak, obviously the production is a huge player in that. In and Under, those songs to me are just, they feel more juvenile a little bit. Not in like necessarily a bad way, but like...
Yeah, not to like shame your own emotions.
Right, yeah, no, I just like the way I wrote in those songs, especially lyrically, like I feel like it's changed a lot, and I don't exactly know how. But there's definitely a difference to me.
Like the natural growth of people in time,
And I think my sound has changed a little bit more. Back then I was listening to like a lot of Julian Baker and Phoebe Bridgers and stuff, so my chords are pretty straightforward and stuff like that. But now, I don't know, I've definitely started to experience more with tonality and stuff like that.
Yeah, even like outside of Caleb and his production.
Yeah.
Let's kind of delve more into that. What was it like working with him? Because we talked to him a couple weeks ago and he mentioned how like you guys got connected just reaching out over Twitter, which is like this perfect millennial way of getting connected musically. But what was it actually like getting in the studio with him, creating these songs and just like kind of leveling them up almost in a way?
It was super cool. He's awesome. Really easy to work with and like very just knows what'll sound good and stuff like that. And yeah, I don't really know. It was super chill. I didn't feel like nervous or anything around him, which was super important. And he was very respectful of my ideas and everything. And yeah.
Did you really have like specific ideas? Like I guess like the more experimental, I put that in quotes, like kind of parts of the songs. Were those like, okay, I want to add like this kind of weird electronic flourish here, or was that just like more him, or kind of spread out?
There were some where I was like, I want this thing, and then there was some where he would just throw something on, and I'd be like,
that's
yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Is there a specific reason why you decided to co-credit him at least on Spotify? Or is that just how Spotify's
that's
shitty?
how it happened. I put him as credits on like the whole album, and like someone from the site that I use like went ahead and put his name on each of the individual songs, and
like
I talked to him about it.
artists.
Like I'm trying to get that taken off. Like I'm sorry, I don't know what's like that. So yeah, that will be changed soon.
Okay.
But,
It was like a conscious like we're a duo now.
No.
What was your favorite thing that he added to your songs?
Probably the drums on Naive. I think it just really took it to the next level. It's
were those
cool.
like he recorded those live, or was that
those
like,
are samples. Those are all samples that he like stacked in and stuff. So yeah. Props to him for that. Took a long time, I'm sure.
Yeah. Why were there 2 versions of Dirty Laundry on the EP?
Well,
was it to like flesh it out and just or like kind of give an insight into the creative process?
A little bit, yeah. It was so originally when I first got the mix back from that one, he had sent me the regular speed one and like a slowed down one that he really liked. He was pushing for me to release only the slowed down one.
Yeah.
And I really liked the regular one too. So I was like, I don't know, maybe both. And then as time went on, I like listened to the slowed down one more, and I really like it. Like it's a different experience, I think, than the regular speed one.
Yeah, it's obviously like 30 seconds longer. It's just I wasn't sure if it was actually slowed down or just pitched down.
It's slowed down and like pitched. Yeah. So all together. As it happens. Yeah. So I just liked them both. So I just put them bookended it.
Were there any other songs that were kind of on the cutting room floor for the EP? Or did you like finish these 4 or 5 songs and felt like, okay, we can put a bow on that. These will be the EP.
Right. I think we didn't I only wanted to do 4, which was going to
Yeah.
be Dirty Laundry, Glue, Naive, Turning Blue.
Mm-hmm.
And then To Be Fair is a song that my parents and my family really like.
Yeah.
And they've been pushing for me to record that one for a long time. So while we were in the studio, I was like, let's just like do a take. Like we were at
See how it
IPR
goes.
recording piano, and I was like, let's just like do some. And so we did, and that one ended up being good enough, I think.
Yeah.
So we threw it on there. Yeah. So that one was kind of up in the air.
Up in the air. Okay.
Bonus track, quote unquote. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There was like the bonus tracks.
Yeah.
How long have these songs like existed? I guess pre-recording.
To Be Fair is definitely the oldest one.
The oldest. Yeah.
That one's from, I think, a year and a half ago about.
Okay.
And then followed by Dirty Laundry, and then Turning Blue, and then Naive, and then Glue. And all those other ones were written like this past school year, like during the school year. I don't know exactly when. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
But
And like not like give us citations or something.
yeah.
Don't need that.
No, yeah. So pretty
Uh-huh.
recently, but not super.
Going forward, do you kind of feel pressure to work with, I guess, different collaborators, not necessarily Caleb again, but like on your own EP? Or would you kind of consciously want to take your experiences working with collaborators, working with bands, or mostly just Keep for Cheap, and just let that inform your own
Right.
writing and recording, especially since you said you've been playing guitar more
Yeah.
and
I
kind of
think
just experimenting on your own?
I think I'm going to continue to work with Caleb for this next chunk of music, at least. I feel like we work really well together. It's a super smooth process, and I really like what he does with my stuff. And I've got some stuff coming out that, can be more different instruments and stuff, but I think he's prepared to work with that too. So I'll probably stick with him for a while, see how that goes. Yeah.
Right. Changing pace a little bit. What was the process of working with Lilacs Media for the music video?
Oh yeah, that was also
because that's coming out
really cool.
Tuesday, correct?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Pretty soon. Okay.
Yeah. So they just messaged me and they were like, we're doing a bunch of music videos for the Twin Cities scene to like build portfolio stuff. And I was like, yeah, you guys are awesome. Let's do it. So we met up for coffee at Ginkgo's, planned it all out. And then we got the shooting done in one afternoon. We went to MCTC and took up a theater space, like had the whole set. I watched them like tear it down, set it up and stuff like that. It was super cool.
Yeah.
I felt like I was in Hollywood. It was crazy. All these cameras and stuff. But it was, that was awesome too. They're super cool. And the music video turned out great. I'm really excited for everyone to see it.
Was the concept, we won't spoil it, even though this will be coming out after the video's out. Was the concept kind of what you had visioned, or did they, like it was collaborative when you guys met up?
They had a pretty clear vision, and I hadn't really thought of anything. So I was like down for it.
Yeah,
and
just-
I really liked,
go.
I really liked how it turned out. So yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be sweet.
This is another kind of like random throwaway question, and Joe was bugging me about it earlier. What led you to not do the name change? / what was the name change going to be if you're
It was going to be
saying?
to Kurt Malanaphy.
Okay.
Because that's something like kind of like a nickname my friends have had for me
Nickname,
for a
yeah.
while. And it would be cool, but I couldn't do it without making another separate Spotify account.
Oh.
So like I just wanted to keep it all in one place.
Very simple reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe someday, but we'll see.
Someday. Yeah. Would you consider working with like any other bands going forward? Like, I guess either like doing like guest vocals or playing piano or forming a new group?
Yeah.
Just
I
long term, that's like not like screw Keep for Cheap, get
for
it?
sure. No,
Not no means.
definitely. And I have started doing some of that. I sing with Sal Paradise now.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so that's really fun. They've got a huge sound. It's awesome. I get to just like yell, sing the whole time. It's sick. And I am in the process of forming a cover band.
Okay.
So yeah, keep your eyes
Catch
and
you guys
ears
in
peeled for
bars
that.
coming
Yeah.
soon.
Oh yeah, making money.
Yeah.
As much as you can, at least as a
Yeah.
musician.
What would
But,
you guys be
yeah.
covering? If
I don't
you
know.
want to spoil
We'll
it?
see.
Just not even that
Just
far.
coverable
Okay.
songs. Yeah. Songs that people know.
Yeah, sweet.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
What would you say, in your opinion, is the best part of the local scene? Because your solo work really stands out, kind of apart from what one would associate with, I guess, like the Minneapolis like underground sound,
sure.
and like what the music that a lot of your like friends and colleagues are making,
Yeah.
and even the stuff that Keep for Cheap is doing. Like, what's the best part of that scene as someone who you work in your own kind of
Right.
realm?
I think that people are really inclusive and ready to hear things that are different from what they're making. And I love that. Yeah. I've been able to get like a good amount of shows. I was worried when I first started making music. So I'm like, this isn't what people like to hear at rock shows or anything, but people have been welcoming. So yeah.
Yeah. Have you,
nice.
like, what's the weirdest bill you've been a part of where, like, because you, like, your sound is just so different from the others?
Yeah. I think it's about to be this Sunday, actually.
Yeah.
I'm playing before Why Not and Heart to Gold, and I'm just like, wow, okay.
Okay.
That's a dichotomy right there. I book a lot of my own shows, and I try to like keep the acts kind of cohesive for that reason, just because I don't want to like kill the mood or anything. But yeah, so that one's going to be weird. I've also played at like some other like DIY shows. I played one at the Flower Pit with a band called Furlough and with Grandma.
Oh.
So that was interesting, yeah. But yeah, so a lot of that just like DIY sound. Any show where I play with a rock band is going to be kind of weird for me.
Yeah.
But I'm getting used to it, I think.
Would you consider working with a label, even just for like physical releases, like tape releases or CD?
Yeah.
Not necessarily like the full label experience where they get like kind of get their grimy hands on your art. Has that been something you've been interested in, or just like if it comes, it comes?
Yeah, kind of like if it comes, it comes. That would be awesome, but I don't know who to reach out to at all. So we'll see. Yeah. And I am a little wary, like you said, like there's that whole stigma around getting a label involved where it's like you're going to lose your freedom. Yeah. But probably won't be that extreme.
Yeah, with local guys, they're pretty much like just doing this out of their own pockets. They're not going to extort anyone too much.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be sweet. Yeah.
This is a very big question, but why do you create, just in general? Like, why do you make music? And I think in the melodic noise, you said you painted it as well. Like, is that just like a certain like itch you need to scratch?
Yeah, it is for sure. I've always been a creator. I used to make random stuff all the time when I was a kid. I didn't write songs back then, but like just making things has always been super fun to me and something that I like kind of need to do to stay sane a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the last question I've written down is, what is one thing you want listeners to know that they wouldn't be able to find anywhere else, that they wouldn't maybe immediately think of when they listen to your music or listen to Soak?
Wow. Okay.
It doesn't have to be like this profound dictation from
one
upon
thing
the
they
mount.
Don't know.
Or maybe even just wouldn't expect.
That's hard. I guess I've said this like in other places, but the cello that I laid down on Naive and Turning Blue, there it is over there.
Very nice.
I like used to play in high school and stuff, and I didn't play for 2 years before recording. Okay. So like I got in the studio and I was like, I don't really know what's going on, but we kind of just jammed it out and we had to auto tune it, but it sounds good now. So like so that's
the joys of production.
Something. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that's it. Thank you so much, Kate.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, awesome.
Appreciate you.
The Ear Coffee Podcast is a companion to the blog of the same name. If you like this episode, please leave us a rate and review so we can stand out among the other music podcasts. You can follow us at Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram @Ear Coffee. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.